Hi, how's it going? Here's Luciano Ruas speaking. For who doesn't know me, I'm a Brazilian pianist, and this channel is for those pianists that want to play samba and bossa nova in an authentic way, sounding with the Brazilian accent. And today I'm gonna do a react of my arrangement of Samba de uma nota só, or One Note Samba. The video is on my channel on YouTube, Luciano Ruas, Brazilian pianist, One Note Samba. You can find it there. Alright, so I'm gonna comment some aspects that make this arrangement sound Brazilian. Alright, so let's go. Let me put here, and there is a little overture here. So let's go. This is an introduction. Alright, this is an introduction based on the first chords of the Samba de uma nota só, or One Note Samba. Let me talk a little bit about the One Note Samba by Antonio Jobim. One Note Samba, it's not a traditional samba, so it's really a bossa nova. And why do I recognize that? Because this is not a typical even melody of samba, and it's not a typical harmony of samba. It's not common chromatic harmonies in samba. What makes this a very interesting composition about bossa nova, it's this note that repeats itself and the chord changes. In a traditional samba, we would never hear a progression like that. And this progression, at this note, imitates one instrument of samba, that is the tambourine. Tambourine has this sound. It's very low here, but let me try to arrange it. And so it's imitating. Look up some pattern of the tambourine. So the samba, One Note Samba, is imitating this. That is a traditional samba style, but it's not being done in a traditional way. All right. Another interesting thing, important thing about this composition, it's the form, that is A, B, and A. All right, and we have this chromatic with just one note, changing harmony. All right, in the second part, we're gonna have a contrast between this melody made by one note, just one note, and we're gonna have a melody made by scales in two different tonalities. And so it returns to the traditional, to the A section. In a traditional samba, it's not common also to do melodies with scales, just scales, and in different tonalities with this kind of modulation. Samba has a more simple harmony made by more chords from the harmonic field and some secondary dominants. And bossa nova is more advanced. And why did Jobim call it samba? Jobim called it samba because every bossa nova refer itself as samba. All right, you're gonna find, for example, Samba do Avião, for example, Jet Samba, and a lot of sambas that are really bossa novas, all right? So let me return to the analysis here. I'll return a little bit to show you the elements. So in this part of the introduction, I'm imitating an instrument of samba called cuica. Cuica, it's a kind of a drum. It's a drum, but it's played in a different way. It's a drum that you can pick in your hands, and it has a cable inside, a stick inside, that you put a wet, I don't know, I forgot the name of this, and you create friction between your hand and create some friction and creates this sound. I have an example of cuica here. So I pick some intervals. I pick some second intervals of inside this harmony, and I try to create some sensation of the cuica. So it reminds a cuica, and it's a kind of disconstructed harmony. So it's creating the environment to the arrangement starts. All right? So let's continue. So it started. All right. In this beginning, I'm already using the melody. What is important here in this part? I'm using rootless voicings on my right hand, and on my left hand I'm doing the bass line. The bass line is inspired in a resource that we can find in the samba schools that we call here escolas de samba. It's not a school, but it's a samba group, a big, large, very large samba group. That is the surdo. Surdo. It's a very low percussion that's played on the second beat. It's strongly on the second beat. Pa, boom, pa, boom, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's important to remind that we Brazilians when we write music, we write the samba in 2/4 measure, and we base our measure are based on this figure of the surdo. Ta, to, 1, 2, 1. So you can hear in my arrangement doing this. So in this moment we have two elements of samba, like I showed you before, the tambourine and the surdo. So let me show you the sounds of the surdo. And what's interesting about the surdo? In the first beat it's played with you put your hand over the drum, so it doesn't vibrate. And the second beat you take off your hand, and so you can hear the free sound of the drum. So boom, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is the sound, and I'm trying to imitate here. One important thing about the concept of this arrangement is that I tried to take the word samba, and I didn't think in bossa nova, like I said before. The concept of this arrangement was transforming this bossa nova in a traditional samba. It sounds not traditional because some elements, but I thought in a samba school, that group with a lot of musicians playing together. So this makes the samba sound more heavy than bossa nova, that's softer. It's like if it was a bossa nova, very, very smooth, and this samba, hear the accent on 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We can put this variation. Pa, pom, pom, tak, pom, pa, pom. When we write in 2/4 measure, this will be 2 8 notes. All right. So let's continue. Alright, so this is the B section. In this B section, I was using a resource that I think it's very interesting for pianists. That is the double function left hand. Let me give you just an example in C minor. I'm gonna divide in 2 hands this. Bass on left hand, and the right hand I do the syncopated notes. They are out of the beat and the counter beat, alright? The upbeat. And so I do with just 1 hand. So I have my right hand free to do in samba. I always try to give, when I'm using the right double function left hand, to create the accent on the second beat also. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright, so this was the resource to this B section. Reminding you that I'm playing A, B, A. So I return to A section again. And now I'm using a more simple way, a more simple kind of left hand. I'm using a variation of the surdo, pa, pa, pom, pa, pa, pom, pa, 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 pom, with a little bit of syncopation, pa, te, tom. Let me show you how it works. We are hearing now a pandeiro that is making all the 16 notes division, and we are hearing the surdo. So and now I'm using voicings. To play this, all right. So this is a way to you are not using just one hand to do some function. You have both hands working on the chord voicings. You can sound more. You can sound bigger when you're playing this way. All right. So let's continue. All right, so I was worried with if I lose my audio here, but it's all right. I didn't lose. So I started to make my improvisation solo. All right, and what is important in the samba language when you're improvising? A lot of people of jazz, they take advantage of it's a fast song, it's sounding fast, to improvise a lot of notes, to put a lot of 16 notes, so they sound. It's not forbidden to do this, but what's important when you count to sound in the samba language? It's important that you to make a melody without a lot of chromatism, just sounding inside the samba language, and with syncopated melodies, because the melodies of samba always float over the beat. So I'm gonna play slower to help you to understand. But a samba melody sounds more like that. Some of you gotta be asking why I'm singing if I'm not a very good singer. I'm not a good singer, and I'm singing to control the quality of the melody I'm playing. Sometimes when we don't sing, we start to play more notes. We start to play ideas with more mechanical, conducting in a more mechanical way. And when you sing together, you are making melodies inside yourself, and that's a good way to sound inside some language. This is gonna help you to hear yourself about melodies. So this is the main concept. Before doing more notes, we can, like I said before, it's not wrong. Saying a better way, it's not wrong to play a lot of 16th notes, but it's important that you, before do that, play a little bit of the language. Try to keep inside the language you are playing. All right, so let's go. So in this moment I start to play more notes. And after that I start to use as a resource of improvisation some percussion. You can use just not melodies to improvise. In Brazilian music, you can explore the richness of the Brazilian Afro percussion and explore this as a resource of improvisation. And after, I'm gonna explore the bass part. Alright, so in this part, I'm exploring the syncopation layer of the samba. So I'm playing the notes on the beat, like the surdo would do. I'm not now thinking about the accent of the surdo, but just marking the beat, and this I'm creating syncopation. My harmonies are floating over the bass. Hear how interesting it can sound, and if you mixture these ideas, it will gonna sound new to our audience. Not just melody, not just high percussion, not just one thing. All right. This is a very interesting part of a resource that many people forget to use. Let me play a little bit more. All right. Before doing this, there was one part that I stopped to do the comping all the time, and you can create the pianist is his or her band, so we can make some stop times. For example. Look, I'm using my left hand just to make some accents, not more to make the whole comping. So this you can. Look, I'm using the left hand as an answer of the right hand. For example, oh sorry. I can use sometimes the left hand to reinforce ideas of the right hand. Answer and reinforce. So this is a possibility that you can use. This was a part that I took advantage of the harmony, of the parallel harmony. When we are playing solo, we have much more freedom than when we are playing with groups. In case of the harmony, for example, we have a progression: B minor, B flat 7, A minor 7, A flat 7 with 11. I took advantage. I don't have another harmonic instruments playing with me, and I changed all the qualities of the chord to minor. So you can, besides doing that, you can do this, and after that you can. Changing the quality of the chords, and you can explore in your solo pieces this possibility, and it's just see if the melody matches with that chord. For example, I can, besides putting the second chord as a B7, I can put a B major 7, and in the third chord, for example, besides putting an A minor, I can put an A sus flat 9. So for example, and after that we can put a B flat over A flat, and you can create new harmonies to your song, but keeping the bass. All right, this is just a resource. You can create harmonies from the zero, but you can create keeping the bass. That sounds interesting because it sounds a little bit inside the harmony, the original harmony. All right, let's continue. Look, that stop times I showed you. I'm exploring a little bit more. An interesting way to get out of these chords I didn't talk before is returning with chords, rootless voicings, and bass notes. So I return. So I was using the rootless voicings on the left hand, and I started to play the bass. It's preferable you use the second beat because you're gonna reinforce some aspect of the language of the samba. But you can sometimes using the first beat also. So it goes, all right? And so I return to the melody, original melody. A piano subito. B section using the double function left hand. This is very interesting. This is a resource that I use from the piano player João Donato, a very good pianist, Brazilian pianist, that he does the syncopation in one hand. In one hand he plays the beat 1 2 1 2, and in the other hand he plays the syncopated accompanying. So I tried this resource just with one hand, the melody on the pinky finger and the rest of the fingers doing the comping out of the beat. This sounds very percussive. All right, so that was it. I hope you have enjoyed. If you liked, let me return. If you like this kind of video, send me your comments. Send me if it's helping you in your play. If you have some doubts, if you have some, if you need to see something in a more detailed way. If there was some term you didn't understand, it will be my pleasure to talk more about it. All right. So see you next next time. I'm trying to do lives all week here in YouTube. And thank you for watching. Alright? So, see you and bye bye. Obrigado e tchau.